Welcome to the PSNORKIS podcast, a show with real topics discussed by real people with real opinions and tempered with a real sense of humour. Now here are your two PSNORKISers. Or is it PSNORKI? Screw it. Here are your hosts, Dr. Mike and the Madman.
Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yes, here we are again. It's the Madman coming to you as usual from Studio M, tucked down in the secret bunker, also known as my wife's laundry room. But anyway, it is time for another episode of the PSNORKIS. We have a full house and then some today. We'll get to that back later on. But of course, first we got to make our introductions as I call to order this council, this grand high council of the Holy PSNORKIS. Our CEO of which is, oh, that's right, me. Our COO of this is, and I just like to call him cool because he is cool, Dr. Mike.
Hey, man.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm wondering how you got permission to talk about your wife's bunker.
And we're off.
I was wondering.
That didn't take long, did it? Speaking of which, my wife, of course, is here. Hello, PT.
Hello, PSNORKIS.
How are you, my dear?
Hey, Petey.
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, honey. We haven't talked since, well, I don't know, just before I pushed record on the mic.
It's a long time.
We have our resident expert on all things social, our resident socialite, Miss Kitty.
Dobry wieczór, my darling.
Yeah, I love when you do that. That's Polish, which I know, we have one particular listener that knows that, so that's why we do it. And, of course, we got the ones that scares our one particular listener, because she says the same thing, and that's our own Rebel.
Greetings and salutations. Hello, hello, my loves.
And it wouldn't be a complete show without our resident rocket.
Taking off to better places.
Yeah, the girl. Yeah.
Well, not until November, but then, that's when we all go down to Univ. Oh my God, we're going to have so much fun. Or we're going to get our asses kicked out of the park, one or the other.
Yeah, incorrigible.
And if we do it right, we get both.
Yeah, either way.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm fluent in Rednecks, so I feel like I could prevent us from getting kicked out of the park.
The funny thing is, there's not a lot of rednecks down there. They're a totally different
outskirts.
breed.
Yeah,
No, I'll find them. I'll
They're
find
totally
them.
different breed.
Yeah.
Most everybody's probably imported.
Yeah.
From various places.
No, I'll find them.
Most
They show themselves.
What? Most
show
people are
themselves.
inbred? That wasn't right.
Just your family.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Look, I'm not his cousin.
That's not what you said last
That's probably
week.
his only redeeming feature.
Wow. That's a rough crowd.
And as I said, we do have a couple of guests, and I'm going to actually leave the introductions up to you, Rocket, because, well, they're your family. Yeah, they're mine too now, but they're basically your family.
As one of my siblings once told me, I spit him out like a Pez dispenser.
All right, girl.
Actually, I think I've said that once or twice, but just not around you because I know better.
That's got to make you feel
my
special.
daughter and my daughter-in-law are with us today. We're calling them Stu and Kenny.
That's doing Kenny.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hey.
I did give them real girl names, but
It's the same name.
Yeah.
it's same only different.
Should have said stew twice.
There you
Stew
go.
twice. Stew two. Squared. Just
Good.
kidding.
Stewie squared.
Welcome. Yeah.
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 Yeah, thanks for having us.
I am so
Should
glad
be
you guys
very
can make it
exciting.
because your one sister used to has been here a couple of times and she's a riot. All your kids though are just so funny. That's why I love it when any of them can make it here.
It's genetics.
I
law.
didn't come out of the dispenser, so we'll see what happens.
No, but you've been around for a long time. You've had your eyes see everything that happens, and you're still willing
Do
to be
observe
here.
a lot, yeah.
So that says a lot about who you are, right?
Yeah.
We told you to run.
She likes me a lot. So.
It's not you, honey. It's me. She loves your mama.
Nah. I mean, you're not bad. She likes you too, but I think the primary focus is me.
I should hope so.
Me too.
I'm starting to think it's not about either one of us. It's all about the doodle.
Yeah, that kid likes you better than all She's of us.
just fresh to the mix. So
Don't worry, we'll break her in no time.
And in case you're wondering, yes, they are indeed a couple, which is one of the things we're going to get into somewhere along the lines today. It is June. It is Pride Month, which is perfectly good thing to me. Like I said, you guys all know I grew up in theater, so I became adjusted to, I guess, or I just became accepting of people early on. I was very fortunate in that way because I know a lot of people, including some I work with, that aren't, and it's like, yeah, it sucks to be them. But anyway.
Yeah. We call you an ally. An ally.
An ally? I like that. An ally. I like that. I don't mind that at all.
I think early on in the discussion, my daughter and I, when she came out, the conversation was that I wasn't interested in what went on behind her closed bedroom doors. I was interested in the caliber of human being she was. And we should be that way with every person.
I agree.
Your sexuality is your business.
Yeah.
It certainly isn't mine.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful that I don't feel like I ever actually had to come out. I just came home with a girl.
And
She was like, I was like, this is my girlfriend. And she was like, oh, it's nice to meet you. I was like, no, Mom, like my girlfriend, like we're together. And
she's like, oh, yeah, nice to meet you.
Okay, it's nice to meet you.
Exactly.
Yeah, there was no hiccup.
Yeah, no hoopla, no crying, no screaming.
I don't understand why that is such a, I don't understand why for some people that's such a hard thing. I don't understand.
We live in a world now where everything you want for your children is available irregardless of their sexual preference.
Yes.
It's cool. It's really cool. If you're two dads and you want babies, you can have them. If you're two women and you want babies, you can have them. It's workable. It's all workable.
Although I still don't subscribe to that. Oh, men can get pregnant. No, they can't. Let me explain biology to you.
I think you're waiting for that.
Like I said, I do like the pregnant man emoji that Apple added to their phones, but not because of that, but because it just looks like me after Thanksgiving dinner. I'm sitting there going,
I actually like that emoji, and I like it specifically to bully men.
Wow.
Did you ever see the episode of Family Guy where Stewie makes himself pregnant because he feels like Brian's like straying away from him and he needs his
I haven't
attention?
seen that one.
He
I
makes
love
himself,
Family Guy.
he impregnates
Oh my
himself in a
God.
machine and he's like, oh God, I'm going into labor. And Brian's like, where are they coming from? He's like, I don't know. And he just like explodes and then there's babies.
Oh my God.
I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen that one. I do like Family Guy. Seth MacFarlane's a genius, man. He's just funny as hell.
I like when he sings.
Either that or he's really warped.
He's got
Yeah.
a wonderful singing
Yeah, he
voice.
does.
I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
his rendition of 9 o'clock.
I like his rendition of a lot of things I've heard him say, including old like Tony Bennett standards and stuff like that. He's very,
I didn't know he did
very.
that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
no,
I
dude.
didn't know
He's
It's on
got
my
a very
iPod list.
serious singing voice.
Really?
He's very good. Yes. Yes. Back at Christmas time, he does a version, and I forget who he does it with, of "Baby It's Cold Outside." And it's just really good. And no, not the pussified, supposedly politically correct version, but the actual real song.
Oh, that's right.
written by.
Because he's really he's a kidnapper / stalker slaps.
That is the stupidest thing. Madman and I sang that quite a few times.
Oh yeah, doing karaoke, sure.
Were you locked up or
It was whips
was he
and
holding
chains.
you hostage in his apartment?
Whoa.
So I'd like to ask Kenny,
Please.
Oh God. All right.
how was your coming out experience with your parents?
Oh. Well, let's not tell my parents that I'm doing this. No, I mean,
I don't think they subscribe. I think we're okay with
Just
that.
happened now.
my dad was more accepting, which was the opposite of what I expected.
Yeah, I would too. I would think that too. Yes.
Yep. My mom and I had some disagreements about everything for a period of time, and not until really the last, I feel like, few years have we really like leveled out with that. But yeah, even when I like joke about previous like quote boyfriends that I had, my dad says like, well, if you've had boyfriends, so have I, and then laughs about it just to kind of prove the fact that like they weren't actually my boyfriends. They were
He's
just
the straightest man you'll ever meet.
straight as an arrow, that one. So yeah, I mean, yeah, my mom's side was worse. My grandfather stopped talking to me for a few months when I first brought somebody home, but it wasn't like a big grand, hey. It was the same thing. I brought a girl home, and that was what it was. And then everything that just happened afterwards was, the pushback. So
it's tough. I'm really sorry that was your experience. I'm proud of myself for not, jumping all over my kid for not liking what the status quo is.
Yeah.
And we've in our family, we've experienced a lot of loss, and the idea of doing anything that would alienate me from my kids was just, that's not even on the menu. It's nothing I'm ever going to do.
I mean, that could be why my dad was more like accepting, just because he lost a parent young, and then my grandmother died when he was like in his 20s. So
yeah,
could have been the
everything.
same type of thing.
Family's everything.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever really asked you that question.
Yeah, no, it's just it wasn't acknowledged for a period of time. Even when I would bring people to events and things like that, it just wasn't a conversation topic.
You just sweep it under the carpet. Let's pretend we're not having. This isn't happening because it's easier to digest that way. Well, just,
Yeah. So
or it's a stage, right? Is that the other thing you got? Was it's a stage?
It's a phase or a stage. Yeah.
Yeah, she'll grow.
I mean,
out of it.
in the beginning, I feel like that was more of it. I mean, my mom, in terms of anybody on my mom's side, my mom and like one of my aunts, they're really the only ones that I've talked to like about anything. But other than that, like, I don't know, it just wasn't ever discussed. Like even now, I don't really talk to my grandparents about anything either. We just show up together.
They like me though.
They do like her, which is a step in the right direction.
And they do know you're engaged. Mm-hmm. They do know that the game plan is to get married.
We don't talk about it, but yeah.
I'm invited to everything.
Yeah.
Her family is very good about it.
That's great.
It's not something that they necessarily feel comfortable talking about,
right.
But I get there and her mom will hug me and her pep will hug me and they welcome me into their home. There's no weirdness.
To me, now this is me, but it's with you guys. To me, even quiet acceptance is still acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
it's just like, okay, we don't need to be in their face about anything. They're okay with this. Like we're just going to.
I mean, it's for
Exactly.
sure better than being ignored for months at a time.
Oh, hell
so,
yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah. That's the part that hurts the most when that happens.
Yeah. We talk about house projects and cars and all those things. So, it's nice to go and visit and like spend time with them because her grandparents are older. I only have one living grandparent. So for me, the idea of having a grandparent into your late 20s, 30s, 40s, like that's not something that I've gotten. So it's nice that they do include me, and we do get to go and do things with them and make memories with them. So
And that's nice because I never had any. Mine were all gone before I was, except for one, which died like a year and a month after I was born. So basically, same thing. I grew
No
up
memory
without.
of them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't forget, you had his honor talk to you like, Dutchy uncle.
Well, yeah, and I had my aunt, which was actually like a grandmother, basically, as far as how she treated me, with that, and so, yeah, I was lucky that way. But I didn't actually have real grandparents.
Yeah, you read a lot of articles about parents who disown their children when they come home and openly admit that they, their preference is someone of their own gender, and I'm just like, how do you do that? Like, how do you push your kid away and decide that you don't want to, deal with.
And all at once, like that.
Yeah.
It's not.
Because they
It's,
don't love their kid. They love the image that their kid is helping them uphold. It's a very narcissistic, self-serving.
it's very narcissistic. I don't know if
kind of
it's. I think it's because it's like, what are my friends going to say
Yeah.
about me when they find this out?
it's
If you're worrying
generational-
about that, you got a problem.
Yeah,
got other
generational
issues.
expectation of what your kids are supposed to be.
Yeah.
And
I mean-
that you failed them as a parent, but that's not what it is. And unfortunately, the reality is, even if parents decide that they don't want to be a part of that, your kid's going to go find a new family.
Yeah.
Because that is what the LGBTQ plus community is. It becomes a second family. People who openly accept you, who, there are, gay men and women who come out and they go and they find, parent type personalities in that community, people who shelter them and nurture them and teach them that it's okay to be themselves. I was lucky and born into a family where it was never even a second thought, but
Yeah.
that's not the case
No,
for a lot of people.
it's not.
No, interesting enough, we have several family members that are very steadfast in their religious beliefs. And we have a family member that is, she's married into the family, and I think she's a little phobic. But the conversation was kind of went like this. It's my older brother, and he said, my job isn't to judge. It says in the Bible that it's not my job to judge. You love who you love, and that's how it is. And he said, my job isn't to judge her. My job is to support her. And so if she is happy, I'm happy, and I'm going to love and support my niece because she is my niece, and I love her. I want her to be happy. And judging will come at a later point in time, but that's not my job. When she gets to meet her creator, that's where she can be judged, but that's not my job. So he said that's how he was going to view things. And it took a little coaxing. His wife did come along for functions where, we were celebrating the fact that, my daughter has a same-sex partner. And
she came to my first wedding.
She did.
The marriage didn't last, but the wedding was great.
I'm sure she'll be invited to the second, so it's okay.
I DJ'd that first wedding.
He definitely
so yes.
did.
And did he or did he not? Even he delivered your
blessing.
Your blessing on your
my
meal.
eulogy at my wedding. You might as well have my blessing at my
that particular I can see that. Yeah.
Sorry, wrong terminology.
I wasn't dying.
Yet,
no,
not.
Maybe not. But yeah, I just thought I think it's interesting. My mother had some things to say about it as well. But nobody really cares about her opinion.
No.
Anyway.
You know what?
So much.
She walked over to us at the barbecue that we had on Memorial Day, and she was like, I wanted to meet her. She stood there and she talked to her about cars that she used to drive, like things that I don't even know about my grandmother. And I was like, you know what? That's an effort, and I will take it. She said to me the whole day during my first wedding, first of all, when she wasn't telling me that she was going to be dead, so I needed to take pictures with her. Oh my God. Oh yeah, these might be the last photos that you get of me.
That
so
does
you should
sound
really
like
take
your
them.
mom. It does sound like your mom.
But then
Love
she
at
said
its
this
best.
is, she kept saying, this is the weirdest wedding I've ever been to. There's 2 brides and a man in a skirt.
And that would have been me.
Like a family picture to me.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good time.
I know who that would get. Oh my God. The look she was giving me, I'm like, I'm so glad I wore this today. This is awesome.
I double checked the night before. I was rather intoxicated. He was like, I'm going to wear a skirt. I was like, you go for it, bud. Whatever makes you happy.
You could DJ the next one too. Wear your damn
Hell
skirt.
yeah.
Now, how long have you two been together?
3 years.
3 years?
3 years. We've known each other since we were 16.
She was actually at the wedding.
I was intoxicated heavily, but yes, I was there.
She was actually very heartbroken that Shannon chose someone else because
Really?
she has loved my daughter for as long as she has known my daughter.
I will
record,
say I was also dating somebody, so we'll just clarify that.
okay.
But yes,
It's the timing thing.
yeah.
It's the timing thing. I needed to be married and divorced and grow up in that way to appreciate
That
the
happens.
simplicity of being with somebody who actually wants to put effort into a relationship and match you.
and has
halfway.
similar goals and
Exactly.
works to have relationships with all of your family. These are very important milestones in any relationship, is to pick a partner that's going to work at not hard. She didn't have to work hard. We love her. She fits right in with us. She's a little quieter than the rest of us, but she's learning. We're breaking her. But it's so important, sitting back and you can watch. I could see my daughter working 2 jobs, paying the bills, doing the housework, doing the laundry, and she had a partner that was not on the same page as her. She didn't see the goals. She didn't want to put her nose to the grindstone and work towards what it was that Shannon or Stewie over there wanted to accomplish. And it makes you angry. As a parent, it makes you angry because what's going into that, and they're not being met, not even halfway. These two are very much on the same page.
So much so that they actually do have the same name.
Yeah.
It really is Shannon and Shannon. I mean, it's
But it's very interesting to watch. There's the bills are laid out in a spreadsheet, and they have a budget that they work within, and this much goes into savings, and this much goes towards this, and they have goals and ideas about how life should work, and they're a team, and they work really hard to get to the places that they want to go. And when that's done, then they set another goal. And it's really, it's wonderful to watch your child meet somebody who loves them enough to
pushes them to get better.
to meet their potential. And then when you hit that goal, they push for something different. My daughter-in-law's in school. She's going to become a school teacher. My daughter's in full support of that. She can't come tonight. She's not going to have dinner with us because she's home studying. She's got a final tomorrow. and I'm proud. I'm proud that they work together as a team. And it doesn't matter about your gender. It just matters about having a good partner. And that's so hard to find. So I'm pleased that she found somebody that sees her and her worth and loves her for who she is and doesn't want to change her or rearrange her to make her fit into some sort of a mold. And my daughter's equally as kind to her partner. You know, they like each other. They genuinely like each other. And I think in any relationship you have to. But you know that chemistry comes, you know that's a big hoopla initially in any relationship is, you know, you got all this chemistry and the chemistry has to work. But if you don't have similar goals and similar ideas and similar foundations and you're not willing to flex on who you are, you're going to bang heads continually. You're never going to build anything. You're going to be constantly at each other, which, you know, so that's why picking the right partner is so important.
It really is. I mean, picking the wrong partner can derail your life in so many different ways.
And I came so close to that a couple of times.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let you with the last one.
Yeah, that you dodged a bullet.
I mean, I did not get married until my 50th birthday, literally on my 50th birthday with Petey. And I think same thing. All the stuff I went like you, all the stuff I went through beforehand prepared me for this.
Absolutely.
Even
I don't
though-
think I would even remotely appreciate her the way that I
Exactly.
do had I not been
I
through what
do
I've been
believe
through.
everything happens for a reason. I really do.
Yeah, and sometimes it's really hard to see what's right in front of your face.
Oh yeah, truly.
Yeah.
Forest through the trees. That's
Yeah, we were friends. We were just friends. That was all that was.
And when she came home after her divorce, you know, this person just kept showing up. And she continued to show up until Shannon's eyes were finally open, or Stewie's eyes were finally open.
Yeah.
It was like, oh,
We're far
she
past
must-
nicknames now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's just
fine.
Shannon
You can
and
just call
Shannon.
us.
It's
That's
fine.
fine.
I feel
Stewie
like
and Kenny, that was great.
Stu
Yeah.
and Kenny is great, but I feel like Shannon and Shannon is just more representative.
I actually like. I kind of like the fact there's two Shannons. I think that's actually part of the fun.
Well,
Yeah.
the other member of our family that is also openly gay, his partner has the same name as his.
He's
him
just
too.
a copycat.
You
He
are
is a
That's a
copycat.
female.
really
No,
seriously.
I'm
I
dead
didn't
serious.
even know about
Yep.
that.
Oh
one.
yeah, no, first of all, I full came out. He tried to come out, and my grandmother
Squashed
Shoved him
it.
back in the
she
closet.
shoved him back in the closet hard, and then he came back out like years later. But then
We all knew.
I brought Shannon home. And then he brought home, his name is Josh. He brought home a Josh. And I was like, you're a copycat. First of all, I came out first. I made it like,
Yep, and it's all yours.
and then you
That's
just
yours.
followed suit. Now it's, you know, you got the same name for your partner. And, you know,
Yeah, it's the old anything you can do, I can do better.
I can do it.
Well, I don't have to worry about that because my actual name. I don't think I'm going to find somebody else with that anyway, so it wouldn't really matter.
I know another man named
Seriously,
Malcolm. I do.
Really?
He's a few shades darker than you, though.
Well, that's just
mine
it.
too.
That's
I
just
also
it.
know a Malcolm.
If you're feeling festive this month, you know.
There you go. Open invitation.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, though. You know, and that's there's another thing. Growing up in theater and knowing a lot of gay people, and then being around them and stuff like that, I have had gay people hit on me. I've had them, you know, and I find that the best thing always was to say, I appreciate that, but I'm straight. And they're like, oh, okay. And then we still end up going and having a drink and having a good time and just kind of hanging out.
But the problem is a straight man who is not secure in his sexuality would be threatened by being hit on by another man.
And I understand that.
Oh,
And
100%.
Had I not had the good fortune to grow up around a theater group and learn to judge people on who they were before I knew what they were, I might have had that problem because that's the way my dad would have been.
Yeah, mine too. Mine too.
But here's the thing. I grew up, I was always a little bit insecure about my looks and everything. And to me, if somebody finds me attractive and somebody compliments me on it, I still take it as a compliment. And I don't care where it's
Absolutely.
coming from. So that, and as a result, it just never bothered me. I'm like, that's really nice. I appreciate that. And I did. But it's like, I'm not, and once you're like honest with that, it's like, oh, everything's fine.
Yeah.
You know? But you're right. A lot of guys are just like, what? You stupid faggot.
Yeah, my older sister takes it in stride. I've definitely had some of my other gay friends hit on my sister, and she's like, the lesbians think I'm hot. She's like, I won the game of life. Men find me attractive. Women find me attractive. I can have my pick. Like,
There you go.
What I always found so
Same
funny
thing.
is the men who get so bent out of shape about being complimented by somebody who's gay seem to have a perfect understanding of consent at that time, but not necessarily have the same understanding of consent when they're going to hit on a woman.
No, you
Yeah.
should be
Had that
grateful that
happen.
they're hitting on you. I've had straight men walk up to us at a bar and be like, "Oh, you guys are together." Like, I had a guy one time. He asked me my name, and I was like, "My name is Shannon," and he looks at her and he goes, "And what's your name?" And she goes, "I bet you couldn't guess my name. I bet you $100 you couldn't guess my name if somebody just told you my name." And he was like, "Your name's Stephanie." And she was like,
God.
She was like, "Wrong. I'm also a Shannon." He's like, "Oh, and you guys are together. That's hot." And she was like, "No, thank you." And he like walked away. But like, it's just intrusive.
Yeah.
I don't walk up to you and your wife and ask you to make out with her at a bar. Mind your business.
Well, that's what a lot of them probably think. They think that it could be fun. I mean, you two already like each other, so why not put a guy in the middle, right?
Because I don't like dick.
There it is.
I would never have
I
guessed.
love the honesty. That's why I love our show, because I love the honesty of it.
Actually, you know, it's funny, and I'll be the first to be very honest about this. I have no problem with my daughter liking girls, but one of my daughter likes to date black men, and I struggle with that.
I don't think that it's necessarily because she dates black men, though. I think it's more of like the content of the character of the men she picks
could
is
be.
shitty.
And that I
That could be,
absolutely
yeah.
If she
understand.
picked somebody who put their nose to the ground and like did what they needed to do and
is.
followed through on their shit, there would be no problem.
Yeah,
But
my
she
my
likes lazy
experience has
men.
been gutter trash.
She likes lazy
terrible.
men.
It's
Yeah.
terrible to say, and I don't think it would matter what color they were if they were unmotivated and had nothing of their own. I
You would
think I
still
have
feel the
I
same way.
probably would.
But even
I haven't
even
had that
Pap was
opportunity
way.
to explore that. Just so you
Right,
know.
yeah.
Well, not with her, but Cake.
Mm-hmm.
Cake dated somebody that was in his 30s, lived at home with his mommy. You know,
Yikes.
no future, no foresight for a
He was
future.
probably an alpha.
laying no.
And now he's
He's a
wound
basement
rebel.
dwelling alpha.
Now he's wound rebel.
He's inevitably going to hit on me.
Well, unless you like them bald and they talk like this through their nose. Yeah, you won't be attracted. He's way shorter than you.
There's so many unattractive
What?
things in
Open
that sentence. One right after the other.
Yeah. Bald, glasses, talks through his nose, lives at home with his mommy. You know.
That's
think
the
I know
American
him.
dream.
Oh my.
Wait.
Yeah, it's
What did I
just,
miss?
it's just not what you
I
pick
missed
for
it
your
too.
kids.
I missed it
And
too.
I will tell you, this is a guideline because y'all know I have a house
She's
full of
dying to
girls.
say something.
I had a house full of girls,
She is
and I
dying to say
tell the girls that all the time. If it's not good enough for your daughters, because some of my children have children, if it's not good enough for your daughter or it's not good enough for your sister, it's not good enough for you.
Yeah, that's a good rule.
Self-worth, man.
Yeah.
Like, if you wouldn't allow it for somebody that you truly love, it's not good enough for you either.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it
We're
does.
also all optimists. We all do try to see the bright side of every situation. That is something that we were raised to do. Cup half full, never half empty. Because sometimes life just throws you curveballs. So definitely, I think through and through, we're all that way. We try to see the benefit of every situation. So even though he didn't have similar goals to my sister, he was not a bad guy.
He just
Until
wasn't
the
good
end.
enough.
Until the end. Then he was
Then he was
actually
a bad
quite
guy.
shitty.
Oh, yeah.
It made me want to slash his tires and burn his house down, but that's just a little excessive.
I
don't think you're
That
supposed to
is
say
why
that
I
on
like
air.
her.
I
She
personally-
thinks like I do.
I personally want to go to his place of employment
I
and punch
wouldn't-
him in the face.
That's-
but-
That's it.
That's my little sister.
Yeah, I mean, is it really excessive
I
or
don't
is it
think
an
at that
appropriate
point it's not.
response?
It's my little sister, and she does not want people to approach that situation that way. So we have been
Understandable. Yeah,
respectful because she's an adult and she's allowed to say he hurt me, but I don't need to hurt him back to feel like a good person.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
a
I
good
understand.
person.
She is very strong. She is very strong that way.
She
I
did.
find
She did
that.
adopt the family's way of life. Next.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Next.
Oh, good.
Thank you for your time. Don't call us. We'll call you next.
I always find that very admirable, but for me personally, like, I like my grudges, man. I'll heal in hell. I enjoy being pissed at somebody. Like, the thing is, though, it's like I'm
You just like
genuinely
hurting
She
people.
does.
Don't
She's
get
got
me
that
wrong.
streak.
Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. If she gave me a green light, I
Oh,
would
yeah.
for sure burn his shit to the
Hell
ground.
yeah.
But she has
though, it's
asked
like-
me respectfully to not.
The thing is, though, is like I'm genuinely like you guys know me. You have known me for years. When I'm there for somebody, I'm genuinely there for them. The levels you have to go to for me to cut ties with you are so extreme that I genuinely feel like my pushback on that is warranted. Like, I'm sorry, but like, take one of my exes.
Which one?
So many shitty ones.
The one you could divorce twice?
No, I would gladly divorce him again, except he's busy being married to his mother. So, but you know, I mean, honestly, like I'm genuinely in most cases not a grudgeful person. Like if somebody's just not for me, they're not for me. But if somebody goes through the effort of like hurting me repetitively, of lying to me, stealing from me, betraying me over and over again. Yeah, you know what? F you, man.
You get what you
get.
get.
What you get. Yeah, exactly.
You have an urge to tie him up by his nuts,
like,
or
first
what?
off, he should have known I'm openly pagan. Like, why on earth would you ever piss me off? I'm going to put you in a poppet, stupid. You're with the wrong witch.
Just seeing pins in you.
Yeah. And he wonders why. And I saw a couple posts, like, apparently his life is going to shit. Like, man, you just should have left me the f alone, dude. That's all you had to do.
Should have just been respectfully, no thanks. I'm
you should
good.
have been like, you know what? No, you're dangerous. I don't want to deal with you. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
I can live with that.
The red hair is a warning, man. Run. You see it in nature all the time. You see something with red, run. It's not for you.
Well, it is an acquired taste, isn't it?
Yeah, if you don't like it, acquire some taste.
Wow. She didn't even skip a beat on that.
Well, you know,
You wound her up here. You're the
I'm
one that started
sorry.
it.
I apologize.
girls with red hair, we kind of got to stick together.
Uh-huh.
It's just how it works.
Yeah. If someone doesn't like us, they need to go and immediately get a COVID test. The first symptom of COVID is a lack of taste. We're very concerned for you. We're very concerned. We want you to stay 6 feet away from us anyway, regardless of the results.
Yeah, and I definitely think I taste good, and I smell good too. Oh yeah.
I'm freshly showered, so I know I smell good, and I eat a pretty healthy diet, so I'm tasty too.
There we go.
There it is. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, dude, go ahead.
I can't.
You
Where can I possibly go with that one? I'm just going to
Straight to hell.
Exactly. I'm just gonna shut the frack up.
Do not pass go. Do not collect
$200. Straight to jail.
Red velvet's only for the brave.
More like straight to hell.
Wow.
Some like it hot, and some don't.
Yeah. Some like it hot, and some need better taste.
So I actually do have a question, and actually a couple of them.
Shoot.
And
I
it's
have many answers.
Oh,
Do you want to know the answers? Probably not. We'll see.
do
The
tell.
answer's 42. Did you never see Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yes,
the
I've
answer
seen
is
it. Yes.
42.
Oh my gosh, my friend actually, he just turned 42, and he's like, I know everything for this next year. I'm like, dude, I want to know none of it. Keep that shit to yourself. Bottle that immediately up. Don't bother me with none of that.
Fun movie. I mean, the book was great, but the movie was
good.
really well
Yeah.
done. And just having Alan Rickman as Marvin, the paranoid android. It's like, I could,
Alan
but what would it
Rickman.
matter anyway?
That's my man.
God.
I
Yeah.
love him.
Yeah.
Awesome in that. Anyway.
I
So-
digress.
one of the things that it drives me nuts, just like, you know, a steering wheel on my pants, like the old pirates. It's driving me nuts. But anyway, thank you. You're welcome.
Didn't see that.
Mental imagery you can't unsee.
I saw it. I did see it.
I'm
They
sorry.
don't make enough, I bleach.
So it's June. It's Pride Month.
Yeah.
And so many people, for some reason, feel like, oh, well, we have to support this. We have to do this. We have to do it. And to an extent, it's okay. But you have a situation like 2 weeks ago, the Tampa Bay Rays. They did you guys hear that yet? Okay, Tampa
I
Bay
stay off
Rays.
that
you-
personally.
Yeah.
I try to not because it's a lot.
Exactly, and that's why I wanted to get your opinion because I kind of already know what it is, and it's not just you. It's like any gay people I've talked to, are kind of the same way. Tampa Bay Rays are like, well, what we're going to do is we're going to change up our uniforms for the month. We're going to have our Tampa Bay Rays logo embroidered in a rainbow stitching. But we're not going to make it mandatory. We're going to ask if you're basically going to opt in. Do you want to do this or not? And there were 5 members of the team that like, yeah, no, I'm good. It wasn't like we're going to do this as a manager. We're going to do this, and you know, if you want to, you can opt out. No, it was asking everyone else to opt in, and these guys just didn't want to opt in. And the media got hold of this, and all of a sudden, they are
Persecuted
homophobic.
them.
They're racist. There's stuff like.
You wouldn't ask someone to walk around with a Star of David or a cross on them.
Yeah.
So why
Yeah.
would you ask someone to walk around with a
Exactly.
pride flag?
Yep.
If you don't, if you support it privately, that is your business. If it's not part of what you want to share with people, that is your business. There are people who are closeted who can't come out because of whatever social circumstances.
Or maybe
they're
their
in.
job.
Right.
Yeah.
So why force someone into that? And why set a situation where you don't have a unanimous agreement from a team to alienate those people to give them a spotlight to call them out for being homophobic? I don't think that's homophobic. I think they signed up to wear a specific jersey.
Yeah.
You're changing that jersey and you're asking them to willingly support something that maybe they come from, Midwest America, where it's not normal. The
Yeah.
Bible Belt, where if
Right.
their
And
grandparents
actually,
or their parents saw
that's
them
exactly what
wearing
all
it.
five of these guys said was just
Right.
like, look, according to my religious beliefs, and I do welcome them, and I don't have a problem with them, but at the same time, I can't wear that on my body because of my and. Okay.
Welcome to America, where everyone
Yeah.
can make their own choices.
Exactly.
That's
Oh
the
my
whole point.
God! And why is that so? I'm going to say it's so hard for everybody
Snowflakes.
anymore.
Snowflakes.
Yeah.
It hurts my feelings that you don't support me. Well, I don't support the taxes on gasoline, but I'm still buying it. Doesn't
Right.
mean I'm going to run around with a Joe Biden flag screaming, love these gas prices. Like, that's not a realistic thing. I hate the gas
No,
prices.
but if you want to, we actually bought a bunch of those. I did that stickers. If you
I
want
love
some,
those. I find them all over the gas stations. See
uh,
them everywhere.
we have. If you want some, I can hook you up
we're
before
all
you leave
guilty.
today
Yeah.
because they're right in a drawer right behind you. As a matter of fact.
But yeah, I don't
But-
think it's right to call anybody out for not being openly supportive unless those 5 members of that team are going to anti-gay rights rallies,
That's
unless
different.
they are
There's no
supportive of
right.
those negative things. They're not homophobic. It's just not part of their wheelhouse. And who cares if it's not part of their image, because we live in a country where it's okay for me to be different from you and for me to not judge you for that, because
Which is
that's
what
the whole point.
That's what the reason that we formed this country, 200 and some years ago, was because we didn't want to be like these other ones where they
Right.
tell you you're going to think this way, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Although there's so many people, I call them libtards and Democrats.
And,
But
there are
that
people who
seem
are there are
Finger
people
of
who are
guilt.
very offended by people who will not wear a pride flag, but there are people who won't wear the American flag on them.
Here's
Correct.
here's the funny thing: a lot of the people that are offended that you won't wear the pride flag, they're not even gay themselves.
I mean, more often than not.
What is it? Yeah,
That's because those people
secondhand
have
offended.
Well, they
Yeah.
have something to prove. I support them so much that I'm going to crucify you for not. And that's not the point.
And how do you guys feel about these people that feel like they've taken it upon themselves that they need to defend you? I don't think you guys need to be defended, do you?
Do you have an opinion on that?
Please.
I have lots of opinions.
Oh, please.
I
share.
don't need
That's
to
what
be
we do.
defended.
Thank you.
I don't need to be defended. I come from a family who fully supports me. So if Harry, Dick, and Joe don't like me, I don't care.
She did say dick, though. I just wanted on the
She
record.
She said
Nothing
Harry
like-
Dick.
Harry, Dick.
Actually,
Harry, Dick. I don't care if you
This
don't
is what
if
I
you
do,
don't
I'm
support what
sorry.
I do. I don't worry about what goes on behind your bedroom doors.
Right.
And you don't need to worry about what goes on behind mine. But I'm not somebody who is a public figure for the LGBTQ plus community, so I understand those people having an opinion on it. I don't feel like I personally have gone out flying gay flags everywhere.
We did buy a mat for the house.
I do have
do
a
have
new
rainbow
Hey,
sandals.
there's nothing wrong with that.
No, but I mean, I don't know. This always makes me feel like I
Go
am
for it.
just
Just go
bad
for
in
it.
terms of the community overall. But like, why do we need a month? Because realistically, all of these companies aren't going to give a shit next month.
Exactly.
July
It's not
1st
like
hits
they're
and that's
donating
it.
money
It's
to
the same thing-
LGBTQ causes either.
Same
They're
thing
just
with
putting
the
rainbows
Women's
on
Month.
everything.
The same
It's
thing
fake.
with Black Month.
But that's what I'm
you know,
saying. Like,
it's-
just take what it is that you're
Yeah.
using to advertise that you accept
And
all of
that's
these
all
things,
it
and then
is.
put
And
it
I
towards
think-
these causes.
I
You're
think
not.
that's insulting myself.
Yeah.
I would actually find that insulting.
Yeah, I don't care how much money Walmart makes off of pride flags
Yeah.
because they're not putting it back into businesses that are for any kind of like gender affirmation surgeries. They're not doing anything along those lines. People, community
even opening
resources.
like counseling for teenagers who are struggling trying to go through all of this.
Family counseling services to make sure that people have support while they're going through their coming out process. And there's lots of things that they could be donating money to instead of just pocketing that profit. But that's, at the end of the day, Valentine's Day is a corporate holiday for somebody to make money off of. The same thing as with Pride Month. And
Petey and I don't do anything for Valentine's Day because we don't believe in it. Right.
12 months out of the year, I am proud to be who I am, and I don't need someone to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
I'm a good human being.
I just buy her flowers because I love her. I don't wait for a specific day.
Exactly.
I show up with a card, or I leave a card for her to find, because we work different shifts.
I don't get flowers.
Wow.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
Woo!
Busted.
Guess someone's going to the store when they're done here.
I will say that dealing with a child who is gay in her teenage years, trying to find her comfort zone in her sexuality and discovering herself. And teenage years are so tumultuous. She was a handful.
I was rough.
Most teenagers are.
Right.
That even more
so. To be fair, it was less about being gay and more about just not feeling like I fit in, which is most teenage girls. I don't know a single teenage girl that doesn't go through a phase where they're like mad at the world. Like I said, I was very lucky to be part of a family who they all knew that I was gay before I was willing to admit that. And it used to piss me off when
Except for me. I was totally blindsided. I will tell you that.
Really?
I was totally blindsided.
I wasn't.
Pat yourself on the back because I had no clue that you were blindsided by the fact that I was gay.
It didn't matter to me though.
Right.
It truly didn't. These parents who disown their children for choosing the same sex partner, it's totally it boggles my brains. Your job is to raise your children to be independent, self-sufficient, fully cognizant adults that can function out in the world. What they do behind their bedroom door is none of your damn
I don't
business.
understand how
not for
anybody
nothing.
can
I don't want to know
disown-
what happens to my parents behind their doors.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Do we want to talk about my sex life? Because I know that you don't.
okay.
The kids do the la 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 with their fingers.
Any
in
of our
their ears.
parents do. Any of us want to know how we got here? No, I'm good.
I
Thanks.
saw this TikTok of this girl the other day, and she's like, I don't know, like 8 months pregnant, and she was like, this is the most embarrassing thing to walk around with because everyone knows how it got there. The mailman, the guy at the Dunkin' drive-thru, they all know how this got here.
Well, I got to tell you, the lady down the
twice.
street with the pineapple that's upside down on her porch, she doesn't seem to be having any problem.
And
They're not worried about it.
back to the
Back to
upside
the
down
pineapple.
pineapple.
Man.
I actually bought a pineapple today.
Is it hanging upside down on your
I
porch?
bet you did.
Okay.
It's not on the porch. It's on my kitchen table.
All right.
Is it upside down?
Actually, you know what? I forgot to tell you this, Petey. When we stopped for ice today down at the market down the street, and I also got a half a dozen limes because, do something behind the bar, stuff like that.
Yeah.
They had a whole thing of pineapples.
Were they
I
upside down?
forgot, no, but one was when I left. I just just for the hell of it. I didn't know what that, none of us knew what, you
Swingers.
did.
Yeah.
No, we didn't know that until
Yeah.
about less than a month ago.
Your
About a month
green
ago.
grocer's now a swinger.
These two told us that. We're like, what?
I very
And now I see pineapples everywhere.
Yeah, me too. Everywhere.
I've become hyper aware of the damn things.
I very, very uncomfortably brought up upside down pineapples in front of her dad and her stepmom. And they were like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Well, swingers. Like swingers have upside down pineapples.
We did
It's
not
how
know
other
that.
swingers
We
know
didn't-
that they're
yeah.
swingers." And they were like, they just looked at me. I was like, "We're not swingers. Like I just need to clarify that your
We're just
daughter
gay.
and I are not
We're not
swingers.
swingers. We're just gay.
Not gay swingers.
Not gay swingers. That's just too much for me."
How about the advertisement for Sling TV? We're slingers.
Oh, I thought that was stupid. Yeah,
They
I
do
saw
a
that.
parody on words and plays. And did you see the thing on Facebook the other day where it was a picture of George Jefferson?
You're asking me if I saw
Yeah, no.
something on
It was-
Facebook?
It was George
Please.
Jefferson and Archie Bunker. And it said,
Oh,
there
that-
was something underneath it about like, your generation would die. And what we found humorous
For sure, yeah.
back
That
in the
sounds
day.
funny.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so true. Because I tell everybody, my dad was like Archie Bunker. He really was.
Yes, he was.
He was like, I don't believe in the mixing of the races. When the squirrels and the rabbits screw, then it'll be okay. That was my dad. I can hear him saying it.
He just
So can
pretended
I.
to be a hard ass, though. He was definitely not.
But it's just
I don't think it was as hard as he came off now.
It was
no.
old school. It was the way they were raised.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, each generation becomes a little more open-minded, or I should say, a good portion of the next generation becomes a little more open-minded, and then the next generation after that will be a little bit more open-minded than the one before it. It's just it has to do with our upbringing.
I
It's how
wish
we're raised.
people would start to become more open-minded again. The problem is they're becoming woke, which is like the exact opposite. That's not
They're so
open-minded
open-minded
either.
their brains fell out.
It's not even open-minded. It's just that they've taken the complete and opposite side, and it's just like they have no more use for seeing the other side than the old school people do. It's just the exact opposite. And I have a real problem with that. It's like, hey, I'm a you be you person, but you know what? I expect you to let me be me. All right, even if you don't agree with what I believe or with what I say.
Everything's about community.
Yeah.
That's what we all want. Everyone wants to feel like they have a place where they fit in the world. And I feel like that's kind of where the LGBTQ thing came from, was people looking for more members of that community to be a part of. But it's almost become, like, my best friend calls and she's also gay, married to a woman, calls it the alphabet mafia.
That's what I call it.
I've heard of that. I've heard of that
I
called
shouldn't
that.
even say we, because
I
I don't
actually
feel
think
like
that's
it's part
cute,
of it. But
actually.
the
It doesn't-
alphabet mafia likes to beat people up for not being a part of it. And what a shame. Because who wants to join a group that's beating you up?
I mean, really, why would you make it such like a, I don't even know. Why would you put so much pressure on it being a group and being included in the group rather than just normalizing it? Because all that does is shine a spotlight on it.
I'm struggling on a couple things. There's a company that repeatedly emails me and says, I have to be part of this to the alphabet group. And I'm sitting there going, and I go, that's not a me problem. If you want to come to me as a business and say, I want this, I want this, I want this, that's fine. I will give you everything I've got. I don't want it slammed down my throat.
Fair enough.
I want, and that's for anybody. It's none of my business.
Right.
Okay. I have an uncle who dressed for the other team.
Yeah.
And I was fine with that.
Well, we were little.
We were little.
young when that happened.
But
we
I
didn't
have
even know
respect
anything
for
different.
that. But if you come at me and says, you have to support our company. No, I don't.
No.
Because it's not about their cause, it's about the company.
Give me a
Right.
reason why I should support your company. What does your company do for my belief system? How does it get my message as a person across to other people?
Or how is your particular product, useful to me? It may
Right.
not be.
Right.
You have to join, if you support my company, we make tampons. I'm like, I'm a guy. Hello. I mean, not
Nosebleeds,
really-
buddy. Nosebleeds.
You know what store does not have rainbow
Gunshots.
flags?
I didn't think about
Nicer than my
that.
initial
Luxury
suggestion.
hole.
Extra absorbent.
I didn't think about that.
One and done.
Nosebleeds, actually, good point. Very well done.
You know who doesn't have rainbow flags
Mike,
everywhere? Home Depot.
Mike, you get nosebleeds, don't you?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't
And
think
the
that's his
U-Haul.
main problem currently. I think he's battling other demons.
I'm battling the rebel cause.
The thing for me is
a lost
the
cause.
company that I own. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what your background is, what your gender is, who you're marrying. That's not a me thing.
Right.
Who you bring to me, that I'm going to look at. So if your intended spouse is mean to you, I got a problem.
Right.
But everything else doesn't concern me. My concern is, can you afford the bill? That's all it is. My job is to give you the best of everything that I've got.
And it doesn't matter to you
No, it
who
doesn't.
they are or what their preferences are. Your
But
job is to provide them with a service.
Right.
And as long as they can afford your services and conduct themselves accordingly, you're good with it.
I have no problem with that. But I get people on both sides of the aisle going, why do you support them? I'm like, because they're paying the bill.
I support my bills. I support paying my
Yeah.
bills. I support being a
I did-
productive business owner.
You've seen the write-ups with some of the local bakeries with not wanting to do cakes for same-sex
stupid.
marriages. I'm like, you realize that you've now put yourself in the position where you are getting advertisement, but it's not the kind of advertisement you
Right.
want. And you will have people who are, like me, open-minded. I have a gay child, a gay nephew. I won't support your business because I don't like your narrow-mindedness. If they come through the door and they can afford to pay for what they're asking for, why do you care what they're doing behind closed doors.
But at the same time, though, do you really want somebody like that who disagrees with who you are fundamentally doing anything for you?
Absolutely
Exactly.
not.
You know what I mean?
that's the
I want
problem.
those people to be able to freely say, no, I don't want to make your cake, because I don't want to give money to somebody who doesn't have
Right.
the same
But
beliefs
like-
that I have, or who's going to have some negativity or something like
Like
that.
I said, though, they put themselves on the map. Everybody knows who they are. And for some people, it's like, oh, yeah, well, that's okay. And other people, it's like, you know what? I'm never doing business with these people
Well,
again.
unfortunately, the reality is it's not the business owner that's putting themselves out there like that. It's the person who got their feelings hurt for being rejected. And
Correct. You're 100%
I
correct.
understand if you tell me no because I'm gay. Yeah, it's going to hurt my feelings. But the reality is, at the end of the day, even if you changed your mind 5 minutes from now, you already told me where you stand, and I'm not going to change my mind now. So
Sure.
what's the point of destroying your business? What does that do for me to tell people they're not supportive? Don't go there. They can have the best cakes, cupcakes, the best photography, whatever it is that you're looking for. Diminishing them for their personal beliefs is the same thing as them telling you that they're not going to help you because you're gay. It's the same thing.
Right.
Let them have their business. Let them do whatever it is that they want to do. As a business owner, and I worked in retail for a decade, so I understand you have a right to refuse service to anybody that you want. If you blink at me the wrong way and I don't want to help you, I don't have to. But welcome to America.
Right.
You don't
Yeah.
have to have the same beliefs as me. And if you want somebody who has the same beliefs as you, and it's so important to you that they're so supportive and inclusive of the LGBTQ plus community, then go find those vendors. But don't destroy the vendors that don't support that on the way down. That's my personal
Well, that's what they're
opinion.
doing, though.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
And what about the vendors that don't do it because not because they have anything, but again, they're religious, and their religion says that this is wrong, and that's what they hold to. Are they wrong for doing that?
Well,
you know,
my first wedding, for example, my mother-in-law did not come to my first wedding at all.
Nope.
She
wouldn't take her daughter shopping for a wedding dress either.
She's
Wow.
Oh, I
very
didn't know
she's
that.
very religious. She's a very religious Christian. She's, devout to God, and that is her relationship. And for her, it was an internal struggle of, do I support something that I believe on a moral level is wrong and compromise my relationship with God just to be supportive of my child who has strayed away from what it is that I believe?
but you have a lot of people that say yes, you have to do that.
But she
I'm
was
like,
she was
it's-
never
again,
nasty
it's-
to
it's-
me. She was never
There you go.
rude to me. She never excluded me from family things. That particular day was something she could not participate in. And although it hurt her daughter's feelings, they recovered from that because they have a respect for one another, that their beliefs were different.
and I think
the
that's
whole
that's
point.
a part of America right there. Yeah, it's just being able to say, okay, you look at things differently than I do. Okay, no problem. Thank you though
You're
for
a
your time.
person
I
and
appreciate it.
You deserve my
you
respect,
move on.
You deserve to be treated like a human
Yeah.
being.
You can't say that you're a supportive, inclusive community if you're excluding and not supporting people based off of
Right.
like if you don't respect somebody's right to have opinions that differ from yours, how supportive are you really? Or are you just narrowly supportive of one particular mindset?
Which is what we see a lot of right now.
In a global plural society, everybody, you don't have to tell me what your religion is. I don't need to know who you're sleeping with at night. But I can tell you from my friend who got outed.
That's funny because she asks me all the time.
My friend was outed at his job by another of the alphabet community.
Wow.
And
Because of course they think they're doing them a favor.
yeah, he thought he was doing, I wanted to take him outside and beat the living daylights out of him and a few other
That's
things.
you want me to
traumatic.
do it?
That's
It
traumatic
was
for somebody.
traumatic. And there are senior citizens who are using their walker. I've never seen them move so fast to get away from this whole situation.
I can't
I'm
blame
like,
them.
why would
you're
you
not
do
doing
that?
them a favor.
Yeah.
You're not doing them a favor just
no,
because
that's
you're
horrible.
perfectly willing to come out. He's not. He or she is
No.
not yet.
And there's
that doesn't
reasons.
mean like, well, I'm going to
there's
take it on
reasons.
myself.
And they
to
might
call you-
never get to that
No.
point. You know
Right,
what I mean? There's
exactly.
plenty of
You don't do
people
that.
who, just don't come out.
You don't do that.
It's the same with going into the bakery. How did the people at the bakery know that you were marrying a person of the same sex?
You openly
Will your-
shared it.
Will,
Yeah.
will your spouse be joining us for cake testing? No, I'm sorry. They're not available today. Not she's not available or he's not available. They're not available
Yeah.
today. And that decision was left up to me. Or I'm the bride and that's my decision.
And it's
I
not
just
like a
ask if
birthday
true love
cake
is
where you
coming.
put the 2 names on it, you know.
Well, you don't put names on cakes.
Right, exactly. Not a wedding cake.
No.
It's not a birthday cake.
Sometimes it's a topper, but you know, you can always
Buy that
get-
off of Amazon now.
Yeah,
Right,
you can buy
exactly.
that.
And you stick it on
Yeah.
yourself. That after they
Thanks,
deliver the
Jeffrey
cake
Bezos.
and they go away, boom, I put
Dick
my topper on the bloody
I'm,
thing.
I'm the one that usually puts on the
Absolutely.
cake topper, but I'm just sitting there going, how? One, I am a parent. I am a grandparent. I can't look at my kids and go, I know what's best for you always. I'm not that talented. I want you to be happy. I want somebody who has the same goals and values as our family. Yes, I do want that. But I'm going, if you're not nice to my kids, I will find you. I have no problem
Yeah,
finding you.
there's not a hole small enough.
Yeah,
Although ironically, you do know generally what's right for us.
I do.
That's just life experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Probability of outcomes.
But it I want to go to things for the kids or my grandson. And when my daughter's ex-husband walks around the corner, sees me, he turns around and goes the other way.
Oh, the joy of having that kind of an effect, right?
I love that.
I think
love
it's good too.
And the best part is like when he brings his witch mother, she actually runs away from me too.
Which
'cause
mother?
His
You know, the
mother.
one with the pointy shoes and the funny
Yeah.
hat. That one.
I wear that frequently when I go out.
I have specifically told
Party
him
attire.
that she is not allowed, that his mother is not allowed to pick up our son because I don't have the amount of PTO it would take for me to properly sage my house from her standing on the damn porch.
I don't know. I remember having a conversation early on with, I have a very dear friend who, at one point in time, we were engaged to be married, lived in an apartment together, and things fell through, and he left the state and went someplace else, and came back 25 years later. We had always maintained our friendship. I loved him dearly. And he's no longer with us. And the conversation sitting in his hospital room the last time he was admitted was, I have something I need to talk to you about, and I don't know how to broach the subject, so I'm just going to be myself and tell you, ask the question outright. We were engaged to be married. We lived in the apartment. I loved you. You loved me. We slept together. Like, what happened to that? Because when you left here, you decided that you wanted to be with men. And his response to me was, it's not about a gender. It's about a connection. You're either attracted to somebody and you feel connected to that person and you have a desire to be close to them physically, mentally, emotionally, and sexually, or you don't.
Right.
And so he said to me, for me, you're the woman that I found attractive. I loved you. I've loved you since you were very young. Things progressed from this place to this place to this place. And then we came back to a friendship. And when I left here, I never found another woman that had that appeal for me. And I was like, wow. And you
That's kind of an ego boost right there.
And you
Yeah.
and you had said to me at one point in time, it wasn't about a gender, it was about a connection, that it was very important to have that connection. And when he did come back, he did tell me that if I was free, he would have married me.
Oh, that's nice.
It was sweet. It was super sweet. And we were the best of friends up until the day he left this planet.
He was great.
He was wonderful. He was good, and he was
Fantastic
good to
human
me.
being.
He was good to my kids. You know, he would look at the girls and he would always say to me, if we had worked out, these would be my children. You know, I would have, this would be my life. And I was like, I guess that's how it would have been. I never really thought about it, but he did. He sat back and took inventory of my life and looked how it could have been. But yeah, so that's the other thing that I find. People aren't like gay. I like women. I like men. Some people are, I need a connection. And it's not about a gender for me. It's about a connection.
Yeah.
So I had to be open-minded to that as well.
Yeah, that I feel is actually less accepted by the community than necessarily being either
You need a
lesbian
label.
or gay.
Everybody needs to
Yeah.
put a
You
box.
need a label.
Yeah, like everyone's
Labels are
so
stupid.
on like
The union has a label.
spicy about labels.
Yeah, no, I would have been happy with anybody that treated me decently.
Yeah.
You know,
So
At
anybody
this
can
point in
ask
my
for.
life, I'm very, very gay.
How gay are you?
As opposed to,
Very, very gay.
as opposed
But
to
there-
just gay. Very,
very,
gay.
very
Extra
gay.
gay.
I don't think that I could ever be with a man ever in my life at this point. But that wasn't the case when I went through my divorce. I was like, I'll talk to people and see what clicks. And
I was like, how many more people am I going to have to fight off?
I fought this for a while. I was like, we're not gonna
cool.
date. We're friends. This is what we are. We're not gonna date. And she was like, okay, well, let me know when you want to go on a date. It took about a year.
And then she asked me on a date.
Good for
I
you.
did. I asked her
Good
on a
for
date,
you.
and we went on a really great date. And I haven't had a date since, and I am very grateful for that.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I will be the first to tell you I am strictly dickly.
Well, we knew it.
6 kids didn't give that away.
Well, yeah, but seriously, like I've had women hit on me, and I'm like, no, thank you. That is not my cup of tea. All that stuff you want to share with me, I got my own. I don't like mine. I don't want to look at yours either.
I hear that from a lot of straight women. I have asked one of my best friends, because she's single and we're almost 30 and she's not really been in like a serious situation with anybody. I'm like, are you sure you're not gay? And she's like, oh no, that scares me. I don't even, she's like, if I didn't have to know what mine looked like normally, I would never even know what it looked like. I have no interest. I'm like, fair enough. I mean, I guess you don't have to experiment when you have strong feelings like that about things.
My one friend is so cute. When we go out, like a lot of people think that we're dating or having some toward dalliance, and people come up and I'm like, can I say it? And he's like, go ahead. And I'm like, the fag and the hag.
Oh my God.
We're so cute together. It's great.
Yeah,
That's not Harry, is it? Or,
That's one of them. I've got a
Harry's
collection.
great. I love Harry.
They're the
he was
best, aren't they?
fantastic.
Oh my gosh,
God.
it's great.
Harry was the best.
I love my gay friends.
Early on in our relationship, we remember we were all sitting around. And Harry was there. And was like, let's go out to
Diamonds.
Right? Yes. And I'm like,
Oh,
I'm okay. And I
love it.
asked Petey, and Petey's like, I've never been to one. I said, you'll be okay. And we did. And we really, you didn't turn your.
I did.
I'm gonna bitch slap you,
I
dude.
turned it for 2 hours. Sorry.
Jeez, Marlon. Anyway, and we went out there, and of course, we walk up to the door. First thing I get is like, Mickey! It's one of the guys
Yep.
I worked in theater with all my life. I've literally known this guy all my life. He's known, well, actually more like he's older. He's known me all my life. And, it's like, oh, yeah, it's going to be a good night.
Yeah. Oh, it was so much fun.
He said, what was it, a $5 cover? He's like, yeah, no, not for you
Is
guys. Come on
anybody
in.
from this area other than me? Did anybody grow up here?
Me?
Me.
Hi, how you
Well,
doing?
me, I did because I grew up next to
Right.
you.
So do you remember the hoopla about Mickey the Queer?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Downtown, yeah.
Downtown, there was Mickey the Queer. Mickey the Queer was just a fixture in the community.
Yeah. You'd see him walking around downtown all the time.
He had a better shake and shimmy than I did. I'll tell you that. That boy could work it.
Let me tell you, I've met some men that can twerk way better than I could even imagine doing.
I don't twerk in public.
My
Do you
age,
twerk at
twerking would
home?
Kill me. Oh, bravo.
Fag and the hag go out.
Bravo. Bravo.
The things
Good,
we're learning
good.
about Kitty. The fag and the hag and twerking at home.
But we had a great time. You had a great time because you've
Oh,
never
yeah.
been to anything like that. Yeah.
It was fun.
It's like it is. It's always been to me. I've DJ'd at gay nightclubs back in the 80s and 90s and stuff. I never had any trouble with it. I actually always had a damn good
I was
time.
going to say, they
to be
probably
honest
paid you
with
better and appreciated you more.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, when I worked in radio, we had one group come up to the radio station. I won't say which one. Oh, there's 99. They don't exist anymore, so it's okay. And they wanted something for an AIDS benefit, and our promotions director at the time was like, "Yeah, we can do something for you." He calls me and say, "Hey, come on, we got a bunch of what, and you're gonna do that." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take that gig, dude. No problem." He goes, "Seriously?" I'm like, "Yeah, they're fun."
They're a lot of fun.
He's like, "But they're gay." I'm like, "Yeah, no shit, they're gay." Dude, I get it. Just tell me
That's
when,
the fun
tell
part.
me where I'm going to be there. And not only did they have a good time, but the tips I got at the end of that night, I mean, and they came back and they kept coming back to the station you know, and like, yeah, we want him, want him. Then the one time he's like, all right, I'm going to do this one. I'm like, yeah, okay, go ahead, see how that works out for you. He came back the next day, said, yeah, this gig is yours when they come back. I said, yeah, I knew they hate you.
Oh, look at our wedding.
You hate them.
We had a good time that night.
Mm-hmm. So your mix of friends, the bulk of them are
Gay.
Are they gay?
Mine are all straight.
My friends, most of my friends are gay.
Really?
I pride myself on the fact that my core
She
group
said pride.
So my friends have been
Can't
my
help
friends
it.
since I was 11, 12, 13 years old. Like my core group of friends have been my friends since before gay and straight was a thing. Before we were even old enough to date or be in a serious relationship.
But they all
with
ended
anyone.
up doing the same.
I have some straight friends. I do have some straight friends. But
She has some that were confused for a while.
I have some that dated men and are now married to women. I have some male friends who were closeted for a long time. I feel like for them it was a much harder process to come out of the closet than it was for the women. I feel like there's a stigma with gay men, and it's less manly for them to be gay. So they're shamed into staying quiet. So most of my friends are gay, I guess, is the bulk of them.
In the middle of all this, when you get in mixed company and you talk, and it's some of my family members for sure, I will tell you this, that say things like, yeah, they're gay, but they're my gays. We've had that come out. Also, what else do we get?
From our family?
Oh, yeah.
I have uncles that are, I'm coming. It's my first gay event. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun.
I got no problem with two women that want to be with each other, but two dudes, like,
I've heard that. I've heard that plenty of times.
Yeah,
two women together are hot, but two guys together are like, ew.
I think that's part of the coming out
really?
thing, though. That's
It shies them into being quiet, and it's a shame because let me tell you. You will never find a cleaner, better decorated home than one that has two gay men living in it.
Yeah.
My cousin's house is beautiful.
It's the most beautiful house I've ever been in my life. And you know what's hanging over his fireplace? A nice big naked man with his whole package hanging out.
Wow.
Makes him happy, but his house is
his door knocker a naked dude with balls?
No, because I wouldn't have
He's
touched
got
it.
Golden Girls pictures in his bathroom, though. So
He does have the
There
Golden
you go.
Girls.
Christmas gift.
get him a door
All
knocker
you
with
have
balls.
to do is watch the Birdcage. Remember the movie The Birdcage?
Oh my God, I love
and
that
that's
movie.
basically like every gay guy's house. Yeah.
You have to get the balls toe hitch.
I have seen it,
was
and
gonna
I
get
have thought about
fantastic.
They make them for Crocs too. I was gonna get them for my
They do.
stepdad.
And then when he misbehaves, your mom can take his balls or what?
I was gonna get blue ones too.
Oh, yes. Beautiful.
Oh, this conversation just went to hell.
I knew it would. That's why we just had to wait for it.
That's why he recorded it.
No.
So in the LGBTQ plus, I mean, I know all of them. Q means
Queer.
okay, and yet to me, I was always told that was a derogatory term.
It's only derogatory if you mean it in a mean way.
Okay,
I guess is
All
the
right.
context of it.
I thought it was queer, but I wanted to be certain because,
If you
I
called
said,
me
I
a
don't-
lesbian when I was 13, I would have cried at you because
Yeah.
it was mean. But I am definitely a lesbian. It's definitely a good word.
Her favorite coffee cup is the one that she's got. It's a dinosaur. It's a lickalotopus.
Okay. Actually, I wouldn't mind that cup myself, to be honest with you, because I think I'm a lesbian too.
That
but-
was a
That's what Dad tells you all the time, right?
secret. It was a secret Santa gift from my sister's now ex-boyfriend, but he was like, "I got you," and I didn't know what to get you, so I just Googled best Christmas gifts for lesbians, and up came this mug. So it's got a dinosaur on it. It says "Lickalotopus" on it, and
Nice.
I do use it pretty
I do.
regularly.
I gotta say, I kind of like that. Yeah.
The male version of that is the brontosaurus.
Oh,
Sure is.
That could be the Megasaurus.
wow.
Yep.
A Megasaurus.
depending on your date.
Except for a mega pint.
Actually, though, if I have too much hot sauce the night before, and that's got nothing to do. One has nothing to do with the other, and I still appreciate.
Are you
the
saying
mug,
you want
to
a
be honest
mug?
with
You want a
That's
mug?
what he
Yeah.
wants.
That's what I would, yeah.
He wants a Megasaur ass mug. Though. People are
That's
gonna
got
question.
too
but
much
that's okay.
sriracha on my food the night before. Next morning is like
scorching my
Megasaur ass.
anus.
Yeah.
Ring of
Talk
fire.
about bleaching.
Oh, jeez. Jeez.
Oh, Lord.
The plus
The plus.
incorporates.
So it's LGBTQIA plus.
Oh, IA.
Just adding letters now.
Honest to God, yeah, I really
it's
can't
literally
keep up.
anyone that you want to include in it, but it covers
Which first
lesbians, gay men,
Okay.
non-binary people,
Okay.
queer people who are there. Honestly, I don't even have a comprehension of the extension of it fully.
What's the IA?
A is ally.
A is ally.
That would be me.
I don't know what the I
Probably I think
is.
most of us here at this table, except for
I thought it was for intersex.
That
It could be.
That
It sounds
freaky.
right.
There
Counts.
you go. You got it. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
What
Yeah.
is it?
Intersex.
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 So there's
Intersex. What
they
is-
that's why they call it the alphabet. That's why people who joke about it call it
With
the
the
alphabet
alphabet
mafia,
mafia.
because they just keep adding things.
Yeah.
Because you have people like Demi Lovato who decided that she was going to come out as they them, and then wasn't it like an alien, like a Zer or whatever the hell the pronouns are for that?
That's the
It's too
that's the
much.
next question. We'll get into that in a minute
Too
too.
much.
Actually, we're at 110. Well, you want to split this up into a second one, or just
Yeah,
keep
let's-
going and you'll
Yeah.
split
Well,
it later,
let's
or do you
split
want
it.
to
I think
actually
split it.
officially
I think
make a
split
split?
it.
Split it, yeah,
split
because
Okay.
that way we get 2 episodes with them.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a
I'd like
couple
that.
questions, so.
All right, very
Yeah.
good. So we're going to leave it.
Double header.
We're going to leave it
Oh,
go at
man.
that,
Yeah.
and
Next episode.
take a break.
Rapid fire.
Refill our drinks, and then we're going to get into that part too,
need
because
coffee.
I actually do have some questions that I didn't know. So I didn't know what the I and the A meant for. And to me, the plus almost, and that's maybe because I am an A hole.
You are.
Yeah,
A-hole, vouch for that. Being a B-hole.
I've been called an a-hole all my life. But to me, plus almost would be like
Everything else.
everything
right?
else,
Yeah, yeah.
which would be
Exactly.
also us too, which also brings everybody together in my mind.
Which is the point.
That's the point of the
That's
plus,
the point
yeah.
of it.
Okay,
but
so
it
that
definitely.
I was right then. Yes, good, because
Yeah.
that's how I feel about it.
And
The
A
plus
plus
means
'cause we're super.
everybody. Well, there's that too. So we are going to end this episode at this point, but we're going to pick it up again for next week's episode in just a few minutes. So stay with us, because you know what? This is fun. This is actually even cooler than I thought it would be. So we will be back in just a little bit. Actually, no, we'll be back in a week for you guys listening. For the rest of us, it's going to be about 10 minutes. Thanks for joining us. Hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you did learn something, because I actually did. But mostly, I just hope you guys had a good time listening like you usually do. Thank you so much. We are so glad for the support. So glad you enjoyed the show. And until next time, as I say each and every time, try to be good to each other. And we'll see you again very, very soon.